that, Eskom CEO, that's Ruyter, says that the current power cuts are currently in place to ensure that there will be no rolling blackouts on election day.
Yeah, the country moved to stage 4 yesterday. Need we remind you, we'll move to stage 2 at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning until 5 o'clock on Saturday morning. I know it's confusing. Try and keep up with the schedule.
Indeed, of course, Ruyter also saying that the power cuts will help to replenish the utilities' electricity supply and capacity for any unforeseen events.
One makes predictions and forecasts about the stability of the system, as we've seen, with some humility, and there's always a residual risk. So can we give you a cast iron guarantee? I think the minister has just addressed that in some detail. But part of the reason why we have load shedding right now is in order for us to replenish our reserves, both pumped storage as well as our diesel reserves at our OCGT plants, so that we can maintain an adequate reserve buffer precisely in order to cater for these unforeseen events and to ensure that from the best of our ability that there will be no load shedding during election day. And that is why taking the decision to implement load shedding right now was made specifically with the view of securing supply and capacity during election day.
Well, Public Enterprise Minister, that's Pravin Gordhan, says that Eskom's management needs more expertise to tackle the ongoing electricity supply problems, but he's further instructed the power utility to take measures to ensure that the lights stay on over the election and as well in the future.
Over the next few days, both diesel, which becomes quite important in the course of ensuring that the lights are on, and what I call the pump stations, which are used to also supply a significant number of megawatts to the system, are in a shape by the weekend to back up the coal-powered power stations in any shape or form that actually might be required. Secondly, it's quite clear that within Eskom itself, further expertise is required, and the board has been instructed this afternoon to take whatever measures are necessary in order to bring in the necessary expertise to back up the existing management teams at all levels in Eskom and ensure that the proper level of professionalism and of engineering rigor is applied within the Eskom environment.
Well, the salaries of Eskom power station managers will soon be directly linked to the station's performance. Gordhan says senior officials will be watching operations very, very closely.
This afternoon, the board and the senior management of Eskom have talked about and will shortly introduce new provisions which will ensure that pay within the Eskom environment at certain levels of management will be directly related to performance. In other words, if your particular power station is not performing at the rate that is required or it is capable of performing, then the necessary consequences must actually follow. The chief executive and other senior managers within Eskom will also ensure that there are senior people on the ground. They have been doing this over the recent and past, but more of this needs to happen to instill the right kind of urgency and vigilance at all levels of Eskom, particularly at the power station level. We must also be quite vigilant at a board and management and staff level of any external interference that might be brought to bear on the Eskom operations at this particular point in time.